Hey, it's Yats from the Inner Yats team and the creator of all this amazing content that you're getting to you, especially about inner work, reparenting the inner child, trauma, working through rejection, breakups, etc. So, before I jump into the topic of today, if you haven't already subscribed to our page and you like the content that we're putting out, make sure you click on the link and subscribe to our page, The Inner Yat, so you can get more of these videos. Follow us. There's going to be a lot more of this content coming out that you will really enjoy. So, today, what I'm going to talk to you about is reparenting. So, the first thing is, what is reparenting, right? You might be wondering that. Now, whether you realize it or not, each one of us has a sweet little innocent inner child that lives inside of us. So, this inner child has been living with us since our early years. And what happens is, in the ages of approximately 0 to 7, we don't have a fully developed forebrain created. And so at that point, the child that's growing up absorbs everything else and processes it about the self. So this little child creates the identity of their selves based on like what they're experiencing, how people treat them. So for example, if someone shows up for you in a certain way or doesn't show up for you in a certain way, it tends to define your identity of what you're worth. If you really wanted love and affection, you wanted a parent to show up at an event, you wanted a parent to pick you up and hug you when you were hurt, if they could not provide for that or soothe you, you create this unconscious identity of like, what's up with me? What's wrong with me? That I can't even get this. Maybe I'm not valuable enough. Maybe I'm not lovable enough. So this inner child and all the good and the bad things from those ages stick and stay within us. And our present moment, our actions in the present moment, relationships in the present moment, our time in the present moment is an unconscious reenactment of so much of what's from our past. Not an exact reenactment, but we take our tendencies, our beliefs, and we project them in our future. And so, a lot of the time in our relationships, the challenges that we face are based on the beliefs and the values we've built from the past. So, that's really where your inner child is this little being inside you who's still hurting very much from things in the past, who's still longing for a particular kind of love, for a parent to show up in a particular kind of way through the partner. And so, unconsciously, when we get into relationships, we are looking for our partners to provide that kind of love or soothing or care or support or showing up or validation, etc., which was not showed up for when we were children. So we are unconsciously attaching our expectation to these partners to give them something we may not know we want, they may not know they're capable of, but more than anything, it inevitably leads into disappointment because these partners can never truly give us what we really need deep down inside based on our childhood. We have to give it to ourselves first. And that is how the concept of reparenting really came to being. And so, reparenting is this process by which we take this inner child that I talked about, this inner child who's wounded, this inner child who's showing up for us in the present moment in certain ways by attracting certain things, feeling the pain of certain things, feeling so sensitive to abandonment, rejection, invalidation when they show up. That's all from the inner child. And to provide that inner child the love, the parenting, the care that they didn't fully receive when they were a child, that they didn't fully get in the way that they wanted when they were young. And so, and so in the present moment, you may wonder, like, well, what does that look like showing up in the present moment? Because I'm an adult now, I'm not a child. But that child lives inside you. And so a lot of those desires are still inside you. The desire for love is infinite, grows from like when we're a child and goes on until we pass and we die. It just takes various forms. So if we can understand that the form it's taking is actually influenced by its first stages of influence and of absorption, we can now say, okay, then this is the kind of love I've really been wanting. This is how I can give myself more of that safety, that security, so that I'm not running around trying to attach to somebody else for it. So, reparenting is being able to parent that inner child subconsciously or unconsciously in the ways that they really need and deserve so that they can show up so much more healed and present. Now, if the inner child in within us shows up so much more healed, more present, more secure, then we in the present moment make decisions, feel more grounded, choose partners, choose a life, manifest circumstances from a position of more security, from a position of feeling more love, from a position of feeling more internally validated. That's why what reparenting does is it breaks a lot of our past patterns. It breaks a lot of those like previous relationships of continuous either abandonment or cheating or avoidance or anything that we keep attracting which isn't suiting us, which isn't creating love for us. Because now we're aware of where that little piece was missing and we're able of how to provide it, so that now we attract a whole different set of circumstances. Now we're attracting in what we want into our lives from a place of peace, of groundedness, of completion, rather than from a place of scarcity, a place of desperation, victimization, a place of being not sure of what we want. And so therefore attracting things into our lives ultimately that leave us feeling, invalidated. So, what I'm going to talk to you now, I talked about reparenting, the inner child reparenting. Now, I'm going to talk to you about 3 simple ways to reparent yourself in the present moment.